Right then guys, we're now here live from Riyadh, and yes, I've just been thinking of some interesting things ever since Martin Bakole stepped in for Daniel Dubois to fight Joseph Parker tomorrow night. I've came up with some interesting solutions, and I think that Anthony Joshua should now fight Efe Ajagba in May, as that was originally what was going to happen with Martin Bakole. It might still happen, I don't know, but I feel like it would make much more sense if Joshua fights Ajagba, especially if Bakole wins against Joseph Parker. I think that puts Anthony Joshua in a good spot to fight Efe Ajagba. And I don't know if Joshua Ajagba would happen in Africa, because obviously Joshua's always wanted to fight in Africa. He hasn't got it just yet, and I think, Efe Ajagba as a fellow Nigerian would be, a perfect guy for Anthony Joshua to fight in Africa 100%. And I think, they're both big names in Africa without a shadow of a doubt. I think Joshua will want that fight. I think it's a good comeback fight for Anthony Joshua as well, and Efe Ajagba would definitely take that opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua with two hands. 100% he would. There's no reason why he wouldn't. But does that fight happen in Africa, or because as we were going to see Martin Bakole versus Efe Ajagba on the Canelo versus Skull undercard, do we see Anthony Joshua and Canelo Alvarez double headline a show here in Saudi Arabia for Riyadh season? Because let's be real, I feel like this makes sense, because even a lot of us hardcore boxing fans don't really we're not really interested in the fight Canelo versus Skull, because it's just so one-sided and Skull's just not on the level of Canelo, and somehow it is an undisputed fight. But having Anthony Joshua and Canelo on the same card, I think makes things interesting. And let's be real, Ajagba outside of Africa and America isn't a massive name, and I feel like for a lot of people it's not really going to interest them too much as Ajagba being an opponent for Anthony Joshua. So do we see possibly Canelo and Anthony Joshua on the same card? Because that way I feel like it would bring much more interest to the card, bring much more people out to Saudi Arabia to want to watch that fight, and make the pay-per-view make much more sense and make it more interesting for the fans overall, and make them more intrigued to buy the pay-per-view with having Anthony Joshua and Canelo Alvarez on the exact same card. Because let's be honest, Canelo's the face of boxing, Anthony Joshua is one of the biggest names in boxing still. People would love to see both of them on the same card, and even though they're not up against big name opponents, just having the headline of Joshua and Canelo on the same card brings a lot of it brings a lot of headlines to it, and makes a lot of people interested no matter what. So I think that'd be really fun if that happens, and I feel like for a business point of view that would be good. But would egos get in the way? I don't know. Turki Al-Sheikh's money will be a huge factor in possibly being able to persuade Canelo to be co-main event or Anthony Joshua to be co-main event. It should probably be Joshua in co-main event if we're being real. But yeah, look, just having it as a double headliner and trying to make both fights feel as important as each other, I don't see the fight as a problem, if I'm being completely honest with you. So I think it's interesting. Make Joshua Efe Ajagba on Canelo versus Skull card, make it co-main event, make it a double headline. Obviously Joshua versus Ajagba, I think it's a good fight for Anthony Joshua to get back into the swing of things for. Joshua wants to get back into contention to fight for a heavyweight title again, and fighting Efe Ajagba gets him there. Ajagba is fairly high up in the IBF right now, so I feel like it makes sense for Anthony Joshua if he wants to challenge for a title again. And I feel like it's good for Anthony Joshua, instead of just sitting out waiting for Fury to come out retirement or waiting for Wilder. Get Anthony Joshua back in the ring in May. I think it's the perfect time for Joshua to come back. If Joshua can make easy work out of Ajagba, or he puts on a good performance, then you never know, Fury might have came out of retirement by like August, let's say. Then we do Joshua versus Fury in August, or Joshua Wilder in August, and then possibly end of the year, Joshua can get through that, then he gets himself back in contention to fight like Parker, Bakole or Dubois for the IBF title. So that's what I think should happen, and I feel like it'd be interesting if it does happen. But yeah, I feel like overall, this situation with Bakole now fighting Joseph Parker, leaving Efe Ajagba free, puts Anthony Joshua in a great situation. And as well, I feel like it'd be ideal for Anthony Joshua if Martin Bakole beats Joseph Parker, so that way, it's fully sealed for Anthony Joshua to be fighting Ajagba. That's what I think anyway. Thanks for watching.